Warrior, welcome to tonight's chat, tutorial, whatever you want to call what we're doing here. I feel it very necessary, especially tonight, to speak out about our border. I try to incorporate education, media, resources, takeaways. There's so much going on, and it's so overwhelming regarding human trafficking and sexual exploitation here, right here in our own backyards in the United States. Not in the Philippines, not in Thailand, but right here. I'm sitting in the middle of New York City. I don't know where you are, but I can guarantee you, wherever you are, trafficking in one form or another is happening online and real time in every town, city, and rural area across America. It's happening online at numbers we can't keep up with. So when people say to me, well, you live in New York, or the big cities suffer from this, I'm here to tell you the internet has opened up a whole new world. And the predators are there. Wherever the kids are, so are the predators. They're always one step ahead of us, one step ahead of law enforcement. I'm so concerned about the border because I talk about it relentlessly, privately, with colleagues of mine, and also on my daily show, State of the Nation, which I do every day, 4 p.m. Eastern. I bring on a lot of law enforcement, border patrol, immigration attorneys. We have to talk about this because it's just a free-for-all. We have to understand how dire the situation is. And if you say it doesn't affect me, it will. This is the tip of the iceberg. It hasn't reached you yet. Every state is now a border state. These people, these illegal aliens, will be in your town in the very near future. Why I'm talking about this and connecting it to human trafficking and exploitation is because, for example, most of the people, let's face it, they're coming here for a better life, to give their children something, to try to make money. However, optics are being managed. I'm seeing it here in New York. Others are starting to see it. You will not see it on mainstream media at all. But for instance, the Roosevelt Hotel right here in Midtown Manhattan, adjacent to Grand Central Station, pretty much. Beautiful train station where trains come in from Long Island and Westchester and New York, parts of New York. And the Roosevelt Hotel, once home to, considered a prestigious hotel, once home to presidents and dignitaries, now is full to the brim of migrants. Not only is it full of migrants, it is full the sidewalks around Grand Central leading up to 47th Street. Roosevelt Hotel is on 45th Street. And Madison, there's a little street there called Vanderbilt. But that whole area, this is Midtown. The train station is where visitors come in, commuters come in, tourists come in. And this is what they see, people sleeping all over because the hotel is so full that people are now, they call it the major processing center here in Manhattan. They're sleeping all over the sidewalks. Seems to be men. Those are the only visuals I'm seeing. They seem to be from other countries, perhaps Africa, Nigeria. I don't know. We have open borders. We have all been under different mandates in the last couple of years, as our children have. We are now seeing the devastating effects of all of that, and we're not going to rehash that tonight, warriors. We have a tremendous youth mental health crisis. I'm telling you this about the border. We don't know who these people are. We're talking about not the ones coming with families. Again, illegal aliens in my book, but they're trying to obtain a better life. You and me would probably do it as well. If we heard we get everything for free, why not? Medical, housing, education. I'm very concerned from what I'm hearing with law enforcement about the getaways. Because we know whatever you might hear or read, the numbers are much higher. Recently, Florida had a human trafficking, a child sex trafficking bust, as they call it. And what did they discover, warriors? that 40% of those men were illegal aliens. No paper trail on them, no IDs, no anything. 40%. So we do know that these people are involved in these nefarious activities, these crimes. 40%. Think about that with children. I've been receiving multiple reports about women being attacked. The flip side is we have reports of these women coming here illegally in these different centers being picked up in the middle of the night in buses and being shipped off to Red Hook, Brooklyn, to Corona, Queens, these open air sex markets. And they are told, you work, you need to pay back that cartel member, those criminals. How can our U.S. government, it is openly complicit in the trafficking of human beings? And these people undoubtedly will stop at nothing. They will go after our children, after our teens, after us. We have a big, big problem. Law enforcement tells me this is the end of America. This. And I'm not here because of doom and gloom, and I'm not looking for clicks and likes. I'm here to share information. I no longer think I can skirt around, put a tweet out here and there, but open borders, including NGOs working on the border, taking tremendous government money. And what are they doing? Just processing people, checking them in, putting them on a bus or a plane, sending them out. And they're going to be in your town. So what are we going to do? The only thing I can think we can do is, first of all, we have to raise awareness. We have to know what's going on, number one. Number two, no matter what, we have to write to our elected representatives and be on record somehow, somewhere. House.gov, Senate.gov, we do not approve of this. Number three, you must talk to your children openly and honestly, age appropriately, what's going on in this country, because the likes of what is happening have never been seen before. Number four, you have to talk about trafficking. You have to talk about sextortion happening online. You have to talk about nude images being exchanged. The kids already know about it. It might as well come from you. Talk about it. The kids will appreciate it. We do focus groups at the Warriors. And once the children gain our trust, including our very vulnerable teens, I'm saying beginning at age 11, 12 now. You know, we used to talk about teens and let's start 15, 16, 17 educating. Now we have to start age appropriate, but really go in at 10, 11, 12 because the ages are getting younger and younger. And younger kids are spending more and more time online. There's been an increase in the last 2 years, upwards of 40, 42%. Kids have access to 4 devices. You know, their phone, their laptop, a Chromebook, a gaming console. And their brains are just online. So we have to start pulling away, having our family digital partnerships, being aware. But I remind you, we are living in a society that is detrimental to us and our families and our children. I just did the video last night. New York Governor Kathy Hochul giving healthcare, including dental, to these illegal aliens. And not only that, it gets worse. Giving $1 million for a pilot program to sex workers. Their words, not mine, because I don't use those words. I use the words prostituted person, because we know from the various studies that upwards of 97% are trafficked, they're forced, they're coerced into prostitution. They're not sex workers. Work is not sex. Sex is not work. And New York Governor Kathy Hochul, and please go back and look at that video, makes no bones about it. She's launching this initiative. And a lot of the money is going to a group that deals specifically with children. And in the wording we found behind the scenes is referring to kids as sex workers. So she doesn't mind ripping and tearing apart families, increasing, remember, supply and demand, Warriors. There's more money to be made, more people will be trafficked. She's openly endorsing prostitution. She's openly endorsing and calling children sex workers. Where will this end? What can we do? Yes, we can wait for election, vote people out. It is very important to get these people out of office at the community level. Why, after all, when I spoke to people representing the area of Corona, Queens, Red Hook, Brooklyn, they had the nerve, one in particular, to say, well, isn't it a lot of the migrant men who miss their wives and girlfriends, so they need a little comfort, so they'll seek it? What's wrong with that if the woman wants the money? That, coming from one of our elected officials here in New York. Not realizing the demand or wanting to know is for children. Nobody wants to really talk about this subject matter. Well, I'm going to keep talking about it. When Florida does a sweep, it's interesting because I never hear about New York doing sweeps. It's always other places. But when Florida does a sweep and 40% of the criminals are illegal aliens, how can this be when we're fighting so hard ourselves to put roofs over our heads, food on the table, gas, take care of our own children, our kids who are either working hard in school, working hard as young adults to make money and have to pay so many taxes, and people are just coming here, pushing us out. Be very careful. We're upon back to school time. I'll be doing a video tomorrow about that. But I do recommend, please always go to lynswarriors.org. Look at the resources, look at some stories. I put a new story up every day, Twitter, Facebook. Just be aware. That's the number one step. We've got to get these people out of office at the local level. And that takes all of us. That's where you can affect change at the community level. That's where we can really have a say, but we have to work at it. So while I work on behalf of all of you on the federal level and chip away at all kinds of bipartisan, whether it's big tech, safety, child safety laws, the criminal justice for children, we have to work at the community level with this restorative justice sweeping our country, where we have approximately 100 district attorneys in office that were put there with the specific agendas of destroying what we know of family, of let us give the criminal, let's not stigmatize him or her. Let's give them some dignity. And I keep asking, what about the child that was just raped? Or where is justice for that person? Warriors, we have a lot of work to do. I always tell you this, and I always tell you it's 2023, the fork in the road culture shift. Nothing is like we knew it to be. So it is time to step up, step out, speak out, speak up. Make sure your tight circle, your kids, relatives, know what's going on. Let me leave you with, I suggest, we cannot lose sight of the movie Sound of Freedom. Don't believe anything you read or hear. Go to the movie, judge it for yourself. And like I said to somebody today in a meeting, when I was asked, what did I think of Sound of Freedom? Anything that gets people to talk about the subject matter of child sex trafficking is A-okay in my book. So whether you like the movie, you don't like the movie, you like the people involved, you don't like the people involved, grow up. It is about an American crisis. It is about what is happening in our own homes and communities. I leave you with a fact. Approximately 1 in 4 kids ages 9 to 17 are approached online by a stranger. Some studies say 1 in 5, but that study's old, so it's 1 in 4 by now in my book. Of that 1 in 4, which is 25%, 40% of those kids will attempt to meet this person in real time. Now think about that. This is what we know. 40%. Numbers are higher. Hug your kids. Be proud of yourselves. do a little research. Always follow lynswarriors.org. A lot of exciting things coming up. We are here for you. You can always contact me, Lynn at lynswarriors.org, with any questions or comments. Keep up the good work. And remember, each and every day, be a warrior.